Have you ever had trouble sleeping? If yes, then you must have thought about various ways to turn off the thoughts which keep appearing in your mind and let your body rest in a blissful sleep. Now imagine if you had a specific person from whom you could ask for a good night's rest and get that granted to you. How helpful that would be. Guess the Greeks were lucky then, because they had a god specifically for this issue. His name was Hypnos, and he had the power to provide you with sleep when you need it and maybe even when you don't need it. That's who we're going to learn more about in this video. So make sure you watch this fully and try not to fall asleep before this video ends. We're all familiar with the process and effects of hypnosis. It increases relaxation and improves our concentration. This technique appears in many movies and TV shows where the person who does hypnosis takes the other person into a state of trance and makes him follow his command without questioning. The word was derived from the Greek god Hypnos. No need to wonder why. He was the god and personification of sleep. He was known to the Romans as Somnus. Hypnos was born to his mother, Nyx, who is the personification of night, without a father. But sometimes he's referred to as a son of Nyx and her husband Erebus, the personification of darkness. Thanatos was the twin brother of Hypnos. No, I'm not talking about Thanos who simped after death. I'm talking about the god who himself is the personification of death. Together, Hypnos and Thanatos lived in the underworld in a cave where night and day meet. The river Lethe, which had the power to cause complete forgetfulness to those who drank from it, flowed around their cave. At the entrance, there grew a number of poppies and other sleep-inducing plants. These were all attributed to him. His other notable brother is Oneiros, the personification of dreams. But he is also sometimes regarded as being one of Hypnos's offspring. Hypnos is often depicted as a young man, with wings on his shoulders or bows. He appears as a gentle and benevolent being in Greek mythology. But that didn't stop him from pulling off some tricks here and there. He has successfully managed to trick Zeus, the king of gods himself, not once but twice, and get out of those situations alive in one piece. Hera, the goddess of marriage and sister-wife of Zeus, was the one responsible for both these tricks taking place in the first place. She was angry at Zeus because he didn't subscribe to the Mythical History channel with the notification bell icon. From then on, Zeus liked all of the channel's videos and left a comment which would boost the channel's engagement. During the Trojan War, Zeus favored the Trojans and helped them gain the upper hand against the Greeks. But Hera and some other gods and goddesses hated his decision and they wanted the Greeks to win the war. So one day, Hera devised a plot to trick Zeus. She took a bath in ambrosia and anointed herself with oil, which was made especially for her. She wove flowers through her hair and wore a beautiful robe. Her plan was to appear to Zeus as sexy as possible so that he would desire her. She then went to Aphrodite, the goddess of love, and asked her for a charm which would bring both mortals and immortals to her feet. Since Hera was supporting the Greeks and Aphrodite the Trojans, Hera couldn't tell her the truth. So she made up a story on her own that Oceanus and Tethys were fighting and that she needed that charm to make peace between them. Aphrodite was convinced by her story and gave Hera her girdle, which contained all her charms, and told her to wear it. Hera did as she said and went off to meet Hypnos. She told him to put Zeus to sleep while he's in her embrace. As a reward, she would let her son Hephaestus make him a beautiful golden seat with a footstool for him to rest his fair feet. But Hypnos was reluctant because the last time he helped her put Zeus to sleep, things didn't go very well. Hera asked Hypnos to put Zeus to sleep to trouble his son, Hercules, who was returning from Troy after sacking the city. Hypnos did as she asked, and Hera set blasts of angry winds upon the sea while Hercules was still sailing home, which took him to the city of Kos, away from all his friends. When Zeus awoke, he was furious. He searched for Hypnos everywhere, and if he had found him, we wouldn't have the gift of sleep today. Thankfully, Zeus didn't find him, as Hypnos managed to hide with Nyx, his mother, whom even Zeus was afraid to mess with. This time, even with the promise of a reward of a golden seat and footstool, Hypnos wasn't ready to trick Zeus again. So Hera added another one to the list of rewards Hypnos would gain after he completes the tasks: the hand of Pasiphae, one of the youngest Graces, to Hypnos in marriage, whom he had always wanted to marry. Hypnos then tells Hera that he would do what she asks if she swears by the river Styx and calls on the gods of the underworld to be witnesses that she'd marry Pasiphae to him. Hera did as he asked and then went off to Gardarus, the topmost peak of Mount Ida, where Zeus was found. After Zeus laid his eyes upon Hera, he was instantly overcome by his lust for her. He asked what she was doing there, and she told him the same lying tale that she had told to Aphrodite. She told him that she was on her way to meet Oceanus and Tethys, and that she had come there to ask for his permission. Zeus bid her to stay with him and that she should postpone her visit. He told her that he was never in love with any one of his mistresses as much as he loved her at that moment. Hera's plan worked. Zeus took her in his embrace, and Hypnos let him fall asleep with Hera in his arms. Soon, he traveled to the ships of the Greeks to meet Poseidon and told him that he can help the Greeks as much as he can now that Zeus is asleep. Thanks to Hypnos, the war changed its course and the Greeks had gained the upper hand. When Zeus awoke, he suspected Hera and was furious at her, but he never knew that it was Hypnos who did the trick. These two tricks of Hypnos are mentioned in Homer's Iliad. Hypnos also appears in the Endymion myth. Endymion was a handsome mortal who caught the eyes of Hypnos. Hypnos loved gazing at Endymion so much that he let him fall asleep with his eyes wide open like a fish so that he could enjoy the pleasure of watching him sleep without any interruptions. Statius, a Greco-Roman poet of the 1st century CE, wrote a collection of Latin poems named Sylvae. It contains a brief poem about the prayer of an insomniac to Somnus or Hypnos, the god of sleep. O youthful Somnus, gentlest of the gods, by what crime or error of mine have I deserved that I alone should lack thy bounty? Silent are all the cattle, and the wild beasts and the birds, and the curved mountain summits have the semblance of weary slumber, nor do the raging torrents roar as they were wont. The ruffled waves have sunk to rest, and the sea leans against earth's bosom and is still. 7 times now hath the returning moon beheld my fixed and ailing eyes, so often have the lights of Ida and Paphos revisited me, so oft hath Tithonia passed by my groans, and pitying sprinkled me with her cool whip. Ah! How may I endure? Not if I had the 1,000 eyes of sacred Argus, which he kept but in alternate watchfulness, nor even waked in all his frame at once. But now, ah, me, if some lover through the long hours of night is clasping a girl's entwining arms, and of his own will drives thee from him, come thence, O Somnus. Nor do I bid thee shower all the influence of thy wings upon my eyes, that be the prayer of happier folk. Touch me but with thy wand's extremest tip, 'tis enough, or pass over me with lightly hovering step.